video game industry has been going through a lot of big changes with all of the layoffs and game cancellations. And after splurging on EA, Saudi Arabia's PIF is apparently going to be dropping more slop. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, when we had heard about this deal a few weeks back, the $55 billion joint acquisition, we all questioned what was going to happen. Were they going to keep all the projects in the works? Were they going to go through layoffs and start doing major cuts? And it looks like that might be happening because they are reportedly tightening their purse strings due to financial distress caused by numerous troubled projects. So over the last few years, Saudi Arabia's PIF, or Public Investment Fund, has become a significant presence in the games industry. It's the owner of Monopoly Go creator Savvy Games Group, has stakes in Nintendo, Embracer, Capcom, Take-Two, among many others, and most recently was involved in the $55 billion joint acquisition of EA. But all that spending may be catching up with the PIF, as a new report suggests that it is running low on cash for further investments. According to the New York Times, the PIF is restricting operations under the eye of Crown Prince Mohammed, as numerous projects it has invested in are under financial distress. Now, it was funny to see a lot of the meltdowns that were happening a few weeks ago. There were people who work there now or previously worked at EA saying, oh my gosh, they're going to drop the gay and go with guns and football, and basically soy is out and masculinity is back in. And I think that that would make them more money. I think general audiences don't care if 90% of the characters in a game are part of the LGBTQ category. I don't think that they care if, oh my gosh, we have people of all different backgrounds represented. It just boils down to high quality content, and most of the activists in the industry are not creating that. Yes, guns and football do sell because there are a lot of men in the video game industry who will buy microtransactions for those types of games and really just want good entertainment. Again, I as a woman would rather see guns and football and really more masculine based themes and storylines and characters and gameplay versus soy and Dragon Age of Veilguard and Unknown Nine Awakening and a modernized, I don't know, Gothic or modernized Tomb Raider. Like, nobody really wants that. And of course, we could see a major shift. Now, this could be really good. It could be really bad, right? If they monetize their games to hell and back and they have predatory microtransactions and everything, well, that wouldn't be good. But at the same time, we're talking about EA already being at rock bottom, nobody trusting EA, so they really can't get that much worse because people will just continue to walk away. The PIF's total investment value apparently stands at almost $1 trillion in assets, but many of these are hard to sell with no available public valuations. While a spokesman for the PIF said that the fund is very liquid by regional standards with $60 billion in cash, 6 other people told the New York Times that the fund's representatives have communicated to international investors and that it is virtually unable to allocate any additional money for the foreseeable future. Now, what I think is most interesting about this is the purchases that they have made are potentially now going to be downsized. They are going to have to cut costs, and that does mean that we could see them ultimately, yes, dropping the slop. They need to drop everything that isn't going to make them money, and they need to make sure that they are only greenlighting and putting funds towards things that are going to be the most profitable, which really is what companies should be doing and what we haven't been seeing happening in the video game industry for so long. I mean, when we're talking about EA, look at the studios that went with them, like BioWare, for example, they're making another Mass Effect, and confidence in the Mass Effect series is really low because Andromeda was just so bad. And look at Dragon Age the Veilguard, right? That killed Dragon Age. We're never going to see another Dragon Age game again. So all of the people that are working on Mass Effect or worked on Veilguard that went to that project, they now face a potential game cancellation. I mean, sure, I think it's more likely that they will make the next game, whatever they're going to end up calling it, because, of course, one bad game doesn't necessarily mean a franchise is dead, because Andromeda did still technically sell, whereas you have something like Veilguard, which didn't sell, was raked across the coals, lost money. That's a total disaster. Dragon Age is completely done. I think Mass Effect is going to get one more chance, but if they fail, that's it for BioWare in general. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they tried to sell off BioWare. And we're talking about EA here, and so they have a lot under their belt. And yes, it's not just the PIF that is making this decision, but logically, every company that went into this deal is also going to want to make money. They want it to be successful. You don't just buy something thinking, well, it might take 25 years for us to make the 55 billion back. No, they want it as quickly as possible. And the video game industry has been steadily growing, and it makes so much money. I mean, $200 billion for the video game industry in 2024. Who knows what 2025 is going to be? But either way, we could see these EA buyers completely cannibalize the company for short-term profits. And I probably wouldn't shed a tear. Yeah, maybe there's like one or two things that they could be working on that I might be a little bit sad that are canceled. But generally, I don't have any high expectations for projects anymore because most of them are probably going to be trash. I don't get excited until I actually have seen it, or it's maybe a sequel to a first game that was phenomenal, like Lies of P, for example. I love Lies of P. It's absolutely amazing. I'm super hyped for the next game, but that's also a South Korean developer, and I know that they're probably not going to F it up because that saw so much profit. Whereas in the Western world of video games, boy, oh boy, have things been really bad. And of course, this article also talks about how EA CEO has tried to reassure everyone that it's business as usual, but the PIF's seemingly precarious financial position is not exactly reassuring. I think we are going to see layoffs. I think that we are going to see some game cancellations, but I personally don't know if I believe that they're going to completely cannibalize the company. I think that they are going to just tighten the scope and scale of a lot of games, which probably would be good. It certainly wouldn't be the first time that private equity has wreaked havoc on the games industry. Embracer Group's notorious failure to secure a major deal following a frantic acquisition spree sent shockwaves through the games industry that are still being felt, resulting in thousands of layoffs, the closure of multiple studios, including Volition, Piranha Bytes, and Pieces Interactive, the sell-off of Gearbox, and the reported cancellations of projects like Deus Ex. This is so funny because, first of all, the sell-off of Gearbox made sense because the last Borderlands game didn't sell well, and hey, Borderlands 4 is apparently not doing the numbers that they expected. The budget for that was extremely high, but they say the closure of multiple studios, including Volition died because they made a completely garbage game. Okay, that's what I think we could see with something like Mass Effect. If the next Mass Effect game comes out and it's trash, that's it. It's over. It's done. BioWare's either going to get sold off or they're just not going to do anything with it for a very long time. And with Volition, yeah, they were in the industry almost 30 years and they were closed because everybody who made the previously amazing Saints Row games were gone. They were kicked out, and they brought in tons of activists. The activists completely missed the point of Saints Row. They didn't make a game that people wanted. It sold like trash because it was trash. That's the consequences of their own actions. And yes, we've heard that, Embracer told them to make a few changes, but ultimately they still made a top tier garbage game, and that's why they were shut down. But of course, PC Gamer's not going to mention that it's a trash game because that wouldn't help their narrative. They can't point out that well, Volition was technically closed down because they made a bad game and it didn't make any money. They just need to say, ooh, big bad Embracer. And listen, I'm not a fan of the PIF. I'm not a fan of Embracer. I'm not a fan of all of these different investment funds. But at the same time, we have to call a spade and point out why Embracer is, shutting these things down and why the PIF and all of these different partners are probably going to be dropping the SLOP when it comes to EA. So, yeah, it's not surprising to hear this, but it is very funny that they might be going through some major changes over the next couple of years, and we could see a major shift within EA, and I hope that it is actually a positive one. Some of these activists are let go, veterans are brought back, good projects are greenlit, and the SLOP is dropped. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.